Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Very good. Look, John, actually, I always hear the same question about leverage and margin. Why is some of the brokers, they call it like leverage, and other brokers or liquidity providers, they call it margin. Some of them, they say, we give you 100. Another broker says we give you 500 leverage. Another liquidity provider says we give you 1% leverage. So can you please elaborate on this? What is the real difference? How to understand and how broker has to deal with that?
So Arthur, basically the term leverage derives from MetaQuote's terminology. It is a word that has been used in retail brokerage for many years, and it has stayed whether it's retail brokerage or institutional. Typically, the institutional space utilizes a margin requirement, which is essentially, let's take an example, of foreign exchange currency like the euro dollar, where your margin at 1%, it means that the equivalent in MetaQuote's terminology would be the leverage we all know as 100 to 1.
I see.
So it's not that there is a difference, it's more to do with whom you're dealing with as a counterparty. Depending whether you're a broker in the retail space or an institutional business, that's the type of terminology you're going to come across.
I see. But John, a margin 1%, is there any formula behind this? For example, if I'm trader and I trade on MT5 or MT4 platform, and the broker 100 to 1. So when I open a position, let's say I buy one lot euro dollar. So is there any formula behind? And comparing to the liquidity provider, how, if we are talking on the institutional space, how is this one lot, one order?
So it's actually a very good question, because MetaQuote has its own set of formulas on how to margin clients. For example, if you're using MT5 and there are 4 types of settings in place, a broker can choose whether they want to apply a fixed amount on the 100 to 1 leverage.
I see.
That is an old technique. It could be, back in the days, it used to be $1,000.
I see.
Or they can apply the more institutional approach, where the rate times the contract size times the percentage you are applying equals your margin requirement for that position within MT5 or MT4. The institutional world, it's all margin requirement based. It's the same formula. Essentially, the rate, for example, the euro dollar right now is trading at 107. You multiply that to the contract size, that is 100,000 units. You end up with 107,000. You multiply that times 1%, you get your margin requirement immediately. That is typically in real time from all liquidity providers within the space.
I see. So just to sum it up, when we are talking retail-wise, so we can say leverage, and there will not be any kind of mistake or incorrect information. But when we are talking institutional-wise and when we deal with the liquidity providers, so in that instance, have to operate only margins.
That is exactly the terminology as per industry standards.
I see. Okay, thank you very much, John, for the explanation, and have a nice day.
You too. Good to see you.